Welcome into another video, you guys. We're doing our very first round mock draft of the season. Can't wait to dive into this one, guys. I have a lot to break down, so let's go ahead and kick it right off into the video. As we see here, the Bears are on the clock, and for the sake of this video, we're not doing any trades, right? So we're going to try to play it as we see it, who I think would best fit into these teams. I'm going to kind of break down the fantasy relevant players a little bit more than maybe the offensive linemen and such, but I'm just going to hit on them just a little bit and keep moving along. As we see here, the Bears are now on the clock. The biggest need right now for the Bears, some say quarterback position, some say wide receiver position, maybe even a little bit of an offense or defensive line type of situation. A lot of people see Caleb Williams going here, but in this mock draft, I don't have them taking any quarterback here. I think they stick with Justin Fields, and if they do that and they aren't able to trade back into this draft, I think they easily take Marvin Harrison Jr. With this play. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a prototypical type of wide receiver. We haven't seen a wide receiver come out here since like a Megatron type of guy. So he's someone that can make a difference on the field. You team up Marvin Harrison Jr. with DJ Moore, with Justin Fields, that gives him a lot of weapons. Even Cole Kmet at the tight end position. I think the offense is starting to come together with this, and they even have a nice player down the line that they can also take for this team. So I'm really liking what I see from the Bears if they end up with Marvin Harrison Jr. teaming up, like I said, with DJ Moore, giving Justin Fields some more weapons, right? And that's what they really need. I know a lot of people have them taking quarterback. I just don't. Marvin Harrison at the #1 spot for me. Then we move right along here for the Washington Commanders, yet another team who probably could use a quarterback. Is Sam Howell really the go-to guy here? I don't think so. It's one of those things that it's too good to be true. Caleb Williams falls into their lap. I'm taking Caleb Williams right here for the Washington Commanders. I think that Caleb Williams could bring something special to this offense. Do I think he is the best quarterback in the draft? No, I don't think so. I think that's clearly Jaden Daniels according to my evaluation, but I'm thinking of what the scouts and probably what everybody else is going to think. Everybody clearly has Caleb Williams as the #1 quarterback on this board, and I think that's why the Washington Commanders will go ahead and take Caleb Williams, maybe take the Terry McLaurin. You got the Curtis Samuel, who may or may not be there anymore. Jahan Dotson will be there as well. They've got some pieces around. Now they have Caleb Williams there. I think could be something special. They have a lot to build there in the Commanders, but I think drafting Caleb Williams could be the start of something special for the Washington Commanders. Now, we go down here to the Patriots. Again, I think they need quarterback too. Mac Jones is not the answer. Bill Belichick is no longer there. They need a new identity for this offense and for this football team. And what other that they're going to go out there and grab a quarterback? Some may say Drake May. I don't think they go Drake May. I think they're going to go to another quarterback here. Let's find Jaden Daniels and give them Jaden Daniels for this football team. I think that could be something interesting to see. I think that Jaden Daniels brings an aspect that the Patriot fans aren't really used to seeing. Many years of Tom Brady being there, kind of a statue in the pocket for the most part. Jaden Daniels gives something special. I mean, he's a 1,000-yard rusher. He's a 3,000-yard passer. The guy's phenomenal. Who knows how that translates to the NFL, but I'm telling you, he has all the intangibles. I've seen a lot of his throws, a lot of his playmaking ability. I think he brings a nice attribute to the Patriots offense. I think that is a great way to do it. Now we move right along here. The 4th pick, we're talking about the Arizona Cardinals. There's a lot of ways they can go here too. They could probably go a little bit of wide receiver. They could probably go I don't know. They could probably want them to go to wide receiver, maybe even that tight end Brock Bowers. But I think they need to sear up this offensive line. Who else is Joe Alt there at tackle? Probably the best tackle in the draft, in my opinion, and in many's opinion. Joe Alt could be nice to protect there for Kyler Murray. They could be getting maybe a little bit younger at the running back position. Not sure what James Conner is going to do there, but I think they've got some pieces around them already. Whether it's Marquise Brown maybe coming back, who knows? Michael Wilson at the wide receiver position. Trey McBride, a new outcomer there at the tight end position as well. This offense is starting to develop, and we need to secure this offensive line. That's why I have Joe Alt going to the Cardinals. Next on the clock, we're talking about the Chargers here, and I'm telling you, they lost their tight end Gerald Everett. They need some weapons. They don't really need a lot of wide receiver. A lot of people have wide receiver mocked here for the Chargers because all the injuries that happened, whether it's Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and such. I know Quinnen Williams, they got him. They might be a little bit shocked, like, oh, we don't really want to take a risk on another high value wide receiver. But in their laps is Brock Bowers, the #1 tight end on the board right now for me. I think that he fits in quite nicely. They definitely have a need at the tight end position. I think Brock Bowers can bring yet another aspect to this offense. Austin Eckler is not going to be there next year. Don't really have a good running back per se as of right now on this roster after Eckler will leave. Justin Herbert's going to be throwing the ball all over the field. Justin Herbert should be a phenomenal fantasy quarterback and none other than somebody to have Brock Bowers at the tight end position. You know, you've got all these weapons on the outside, whether it's Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson. Now we've got Brock Bowers to the mix. It's going to be a nice potent offense for Justin Herbert. I really like to see that. Next guy we're going on here is the Giants here. The Giants are going to be on the clock. They have a lot of needs as well. Do they proceed with Daniel Jones or Mr. I got the money? I don't know. I think it's a good position right here. It falls to him. Is Drake May, the quarterback out of North Carolina. I do like a lot of his decision making and his ability to make some plays. I think that the New York Giants just wants to have a new identity as well. Ever since Eli Manning left, they've kind of been struggling. Daniel Jones had some flashes of being a stellar quarterback. Really not somebody that you really want to hang your hat on at this position. So I think Drake May comes in. You never know. You might even have Daniel Jones as the quarterback for this upcoming season. Let Drake May learn a little bit, possibility. But I think overall Drake May could be a great addition to this offense and maybe start to build something new here in New York. And I think that is definitely something that they need. So next on the docket here is the Tennessee Titans. Now the Titans, there's a lot of needs there for the Titans as well, and I don't think that they reach here in this scenario for a running back. I don't think necessarily they have some great wide receivers still on the board. Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, but I think they're going to shore up this offensive line. I think Fashanu out of Penn State is a good offensive lineman that they can do to start just building up this offense and giving them the things that they need. I think that's a solid pick for the Tennessee Titans. The next here we're on the board, we have the Atlanta Falcons. I think Atlanta Falcons keep building. I think they add a quarterback in the free agency, whether it's Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins or something like that, and I think they continue to build onto this offense. I think Malik Neighbors falls into their lap. Now you're looking at Malik Neighbors, you're looking at Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson, a potent type of offense. They just need a quarterback to be able to direct the traffic. I think this is a great fit for the Atlanta Falcons. Malik Neighbors could make the Falcons almost unstoppable again, as long as they have somebody that's going to be able to deliver the football. I think that can happen. Malik Neighbors, I think, is a phenomenal pick here. So, Bears back on the clock. In this scenario, I went ahead and got Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, if we end up getting Caleb Williams, it looks like Rome Odunze really even falls to him here. Could have started maybe with a Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze combo. But in my scenario, I still have Justin Fields there. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. there. They've got a lot of these things kind of tagged up. And what do they want to do? Maybe a little bit on that defense. The defense needs a lot of help. And I think that if we put here Dallas Turner, like the edge out of Alabama, he's a really, really good edge runner. I think probably one of the best defenders in this football draft. I think he can go to the Bears and be a dominant force on the edge for them for years to come. I like Dallas Turner going to the Bears. Now, the Jets, 10th overall pick. A lot of places they can go here, but just based on Aaron Rodgers, he's coming back and he got hurt. What are they going to do if he got hurt? Well, they need to go ahead and secure up that offensive line. I got Fuaga going there to the Jets. He's a ferocious type of offensive tackle. He was getting after it. He looked really good at the Senior Bowl. This guy can play football, and he's climbing up a lot of draft boards here lately. I think Fuaga could be a stellar pick for the Jets to help keep Aaron Rodgers upright. Next guy we're talking about here is the Vikings here. They're on the clock. They need help on defense. I'm telling you, they need help on defense. And I need, let's go look at this guy, Jared Verse. We're going to give him the next edge rusher off the board. I think he's a very good, versatile type of defensive end that could fit in nicely into this scheme and do really well for the Vikings. We were along here talking about the Broncos. The Broncos have a lot of needs as well. They also need quarterback. I think it's too early to reach on quarterback. So I think they need to start replacing things. They kind of think maybe Patrick Surtain may not be there. Maybe they might trade Patrick Surtain to kind of move all over the draft. So they're going to need somebody to replace that. I think it's going to be Cooper. Dejan. I always mess up the guy's name, but he is so versatile. He's all over the place, and he's a playmaker. He's something that I think, there's a lot of cornerbacks here. You can slot probably about 4 or 5 cornerbacks in here, all in the same one. Who's the number one? Who knows? They all have different talents, but I think Cooper ends up getting the nod here, going at number 12 to the Broncos. Going here next, we have the Raiders. Yet again, like I was just saying, you can slot these corners everywhere. I have them also going as a corner. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, I think could be a solid cornerback for them. They always like their cornerbacks. They like their speed. Nate Wiggins gives them all of that. Moving right along here with the New Orleans Saints, and I'm telling you guys right now, as a Saints fan, if anyone drafts anything other than offensive linemen for the New Orleans Saints, you're going to see me lose my patukas. The best tackle that I have here on the board right now, J.C. Latham out of Alabama. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's got a lot of talent. Somebody that could be beneficial for Derek Carr standing upright. He was just put under pressure so much. They have Trevor Penning. He just, I don't know, he has so many penalties, Trevor Penning. I don't know if he's a left tackle. They could even move him maybe over to the right tackle position. Who knows? Andres Pete, he's leaving in free agency as well. They need to shore up this offensive line. I think J.C. Latham could bring them along to be shoring up that offensive line. He is the next step. Don't get cute. I don't care that Roma Dunze is still on the field. I don't care. I need an offensive lineman. I need an offensive line, and I need an offensive tackle. J.C. Latham fits the bill there. I like him. Let's move right along here to the Colts. Here, you got think about the offense is looking really, really good. Anthony Richardson coming back. Jonathan Taylor going to be back. And I think that we need to move right along to a defensive lineman. Let's go ahead and look for him. Who would I want to give them? I want to give him a nice... Let's give him a nice productive guy. What about Brian Murphy out of Texas? I like that position. I think he can bring some good upfront pass rush. I think he did really, really good for Texas, and this Texas team was absolutely stoked. They're going to have probably quite a few first-round picks in this year's draft, and I think Brian Murphy could bring a lot of defensive presence for the Colts to kind of help them on that side of the ball. I think offense, they're pretty set. They really don't need to take a high pick. They've got a lot of weapons on the field. I think it's a good pick. Let's move right along here to the Seattle Seahawks. They've got quite a few needs as well, mostly linemen, whether it's offensive lineman or defensive lineman. I want to give him a lineman that's kind of raising up my board. He got a very, very high motor, and I'm going to give him Latu. Latu is a defensive lineman that I see that can be doing a lot of really good things on the field. I'm talking about pass rushing, could be causing a lot of havoc in the backfield. I really like that situation. Let's move right along here. We're talking about Jacksonville Jaguars. What are they going to do? Are they going to end up keeping Calvin Ridley there? Even if they do keep Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. Could Christian Kirk move over maybe into the slot? I have somebody who fell all the way down to pick 17. We're talking about Rome Odunze, the wide receiver out of Washington. He's a very, very fantastic wide receiver. Could fit in very nicely here for Trevor Lawrence. I think it's somebody that could really upgrade this offense quite a bit. Travis Etienne in the back. We still got Evan Ingram. You put out there Calvin Ridley, Rome Odunze, Christian Kirk. Now we're talking about a huge offensive weapon that we can be using all over the field. I really like Rome Odunze. So let's go right along here. The next guy, we're talking about the Bengals, right? And there's a good chance that the Bengals are going to be franchise tagging T. Higgins. So they need to have somebody that's going to, fill into that role, whether it's this year or next year. And how about another LSU guy, right? Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, big body type of wide receiver, and can make plays. Now we talking about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Brian Thomas Jr., all from LSU, rocking and rolling. I just like this pick. I think it would work out good for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I like the situation that puts him in. So moving right along here, we're talking about the Rams, and I'm saying we're gonna do one more reach here. We're going to do a reach. I know a lot of you guys probably won't agree with this, but it's Matthew Stafford. He's getting long in the tooth. This might be his last season playing. Why not have somebody underneath him learning? And I'm going to talk about Bo Nix, the quarterback out of Oregon. Started his career there in Auburn. Didn't look as good as he thought he was going to. Went to a spread type of offense in Oregon, and he started putting up some phenomenal numbers. Now, you put him into another offense, and I think Zach is over there right now as the offensive coordinator. I think it's going to work out really, really good. I think everything's going to work out absolutely phenomenal. Actually, I think now that I think about it, I think Zach actually went over to the offensive coordinator. He left the Rams and he went over to the Falcons now. So Zach's no longer there. So I have to see who's going to be the offensive coordinator for the Rams. But I still think that they can coach up Bo Nix to be a really good replacement for Matthew Stafford. I think 19th, is that a little bit of a reach for another quarterback? I think so, but if you like your guy, you're like your guy, and I think Bo Nix is the best on my board next available. He's got all the tools to be absolutely phenomenal. So moving along here to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, I think they go quarterback in free agency. I don't think that they're going to go quarterback in the draft. So the next best position I think they really need is defensive back. They need a little bit more help there with Mika Fitzpatrick in the backfield as well. I think they can use another corner. I'm going to give them Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama. I think that's a really good play for them as well. Kind of sear up some of that offensive terror that's been raining upon this defensive secondary all season last season. So I do like that pick right there. Let's talk about the Dolphins, and this is probably one of the easiest picks in a mock draft. I think almost everybody needs to be consistent on this as well. They need a center. They need a center. There's one center in this draft that we all need to talk about. Is Jackson Powers Johnson, right? I think it's an easy set it and forget it type of pick. I don't see them going anywhere else. They desperately need a center. They do, and I think this fits a perfect need for them at pick 21, taking a center. I'm absolutely okay with that. Let's move right along here to the Eagles. Who do we have for the Eagles here? So ever since CJ Gardner-Johnson left, right, he was that nasty type of guy. He ended up leaving. He's no longer there anymore. He ended up playing with the Lions last season. I think they're going to try to replace that. I think we're going to go with Mitchell, the cornerback out of Toledo. I really like seeing what I saw from him. He's probably at a school a lot of people didn't watch or doesn't know about, but this guy can play. This guy can absolutely play. He's been jumping a couple people on my board as well, and I've got him way up here at pick number 22. So I like that play for the Eagles. Pick number 23, we're talking about the Houston Texans here. What do we need from the Texans? Offense is looking really, really good. Let's go ahead and give them a defensive lineman here. Let's see, who are we going to give him? Let's just go ahead and give Jerzon Newton. How about him? I think he's a good fit for the Texans. I think it would be really nice for him. And really, get this defense started, right? They have a nice pick last season for the defensive line. They're going to keep rocking on this defensive line, and defense wins championships. I'm telling you, it's a defensive-minded head coach. He's going to build up this defense. I like Newton, good defensive lineman, good defensive tackle for that team. Now we're talking about the Cowboys. Now, one of the biggest things for Cowboys fans that we know, when they got the injuries at the cornerback position, it hurt. And then obviously you got Stephon Gilmore sitting there. Now he's the number one cornerback. He's getting long in the tooth as well. We need to really build up this secondary if we're talking about the Cowboys. I'm going to give him Kool-Aid Ministry. Kool-Aid McKinstry. I always say ministry. Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think he's a good fit for this Dallas defense. He's a need for this Dallas defense. They need depth at that cornerback position. He can easily play the nickel back until he's ready to have more of a role on this defense. Let's move right along here. Talk about the Packers here, and the Packers, they're gonna need some protection. I think they need protection for Jordan Love. I think overall he's got some of the weapons out there that he can make happen. But I think let's scroll down a little bit and maybe give him Tyler Guyton, the tackle out of Oklahoma. He could probably be higher on a lot of people's boards. I just think he's one of the best tackles in this draft. I really like what he can do. I like his attack at the line of scrimmage, and I think putting him on the Packers team is pretty decent. I like that pick. Let's move right along here. We're talking about the Bucs here. The Bucs need a lot of things, right? I think let's get if they keep back with Baker Mayfield, right? If we think this through, they're able to get Mike Evans back. I think they want Mike Evans back. They're going to need to try to protect Baker Mayfield. Let's also give him a tackle. Let's give him the tackle out of Georgia, maybe Amarius Mims. I think that would be a nice pick for them. Just keep Baker Mayfield upright. They got Rachaad White back there. Nice young running back to kind of take over. Just keep building up that offensive line. I'm a huge advocate for offensive line play. It can make your entire offense better if you have a good offensive line. I like the Amarius Mims pick. Now we got the Cardinals back on the pry here. What did we go here? We went Joe Alt. At the tight end or at the tackle position here. Let's move the Cardinals back on. And I think they have somebody right now. I think, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give him Troy Franklin. I think giving them another wide receiver here could be really, really good. Matchup there. Even if they don't get Marquise Brown back, you put Troy Franklin in this offense with what is it? Mike, oh man. I just had a huge brain fart right there. Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson's the other. I couldn't remember that name. Michael Wilson, Troy Franklin, two wide receivers on the outside. I think that could be really good for Kyler Murray. I like this pick. Troy Franklin, one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft. He's absolutely electric. He can make some fantastic plays. Maybe a little bit skinnier than what a lot of people might think, but I think he's a playmaker. He's an absolute playmaker, and it's weird to say, but when I look at this guy play, I'm thinking AJ Brown. I'm thinking AJ Green. AJ Green's just the frame and everything. That's just kind of what I think when I see this guy. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I do like Troy Franklin for the Cardinals there. Let's move right along here. Talking about the Bills. And I think let's give him another playmaker. It could be Gabe Davis is out the door. They've got Stephon Diggs there. I do like Justin Shorter, the 6'4" wide receiver that they had last season, he was the rookie last season, didn't play a snap, but I think they keep adding on a wide receiver. Let's scroll down here and give them a Adonai Mitchell. I think Mitchell's another big body wide receiver that can really come in and assert his dominance here. You got Mitchell there, you've got Shorter there, the other young wide receiver, and you got Diggs. Keep building it up for Josh Allen. Even Dalton Kincaid at the tight end position. I like Mitchell here for the for the Bills. Look, y'all, it's been a long day. Let's move right along here. Talk about the Lions here. What can we do with the Lions? The Lions made it pretty far this last season into the playoffs, NFC Championship game. They're going to need some. I think they're going to stick with Jared Goff, right? If you stick with Jared Goff, you've got to be able to keep Jared Goff on his feet. The way to do that, you add him another tackle. Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, I think is a good, phenomenal pick, a safe pick, even more running ability for Jahmyr Gibbs. He can open up some holes for him. I really like that position. Let's talk about the Ravens, right? So the Ravens here, what do we need from the Ravens, right? We have Zay Flowers. We don't know what's going to happen. There was rumors about domestic violence stuff with Zay Flowers, not sure. But let's just assume Zay Flowers is back. It's all good to go. Odell Beckham Jr., will he stay with the team? Will he leave? I'm not sure. But they need a big body wide receiver. They need somebody that's can make some big plays. They got a guy out there. It's called Keon Coleman. He's one of those spectacular catch aficionados, right? So I really like what he brings to the table. I like if you can give Lamar Jackson yet another weapon. We're talking about Likely and Andrews at the tight end position, Zay Flowers, Keon Coleman. I'm liking what I'm seeing there. I think that will be a great play for him. Next on the clock, we're going to talk about the 49ers. They need to help them more on defense. Keep adding to that defense and defense and defense. They're absolutely loaded on the offensive side. I like Rakestraw Jr. here, the cornerback out of Missouri. I think giving them yet another cornerback to help them out in that secondary could be huge for this defense. Just keep stacking up really nice premier players, and they're young and they're good, and they could be good for a very, very long time. Now, last but not least, the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. I had a little fun with this one, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to scroll down quite a little bit for this guy. I think that Patrick Mahomes needs help. Let's just call a spade a spade. Rashid Rice came nice as a wide receiver, but they need that speedster. They need that Tyreek Hill. And there's a blazing wide receiver still on the board. Maybe a little bit of a reach for him, but I'm going to say right now, Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver out of Texas. Did it just... Look, I did it. You guys have got to just trust me. It's Xavier Worthy out of Texas. It done messed up the entire draft board. Ain't that something? But I think Xavier Worthy could be good for this offense. Guys, I appreciate this. This is my first mock draft of the season. I think that... oh, look at that. Look at that. I could just click that. I didn't know I could do that. Look, I'm learning things new all the time. It's the first time I'm actually using this. But I do have Xavier Worthy right there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Guys, that's my first mock draft. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing more mock drafts. Probably do a 2-round mock draft, see how far we can go, see what we can do, and then just kind of play it by ear as we go through. Guys, we're kicking off multiple videos each and every week to help you best prepare for your NFL draft and for your fantasy drafts towards August of this season here to ultimately help you win a championship. Hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.